Okay, welcome to a special Making an Impact YouTube version. The first time I've done a YouTube version of this. It's always been a written article, and I appreciate you guys as always reading the articles, because, you know, wouldn't be able to even do this if you guys wouldn't even read. So I really appreciate y'all would be out there in the Mayor Nation. Okay, let's get started. And as you know, I do the reviews. It's you know, stuff that I thought, you know, wasn't great was low impact. Anything that was okay impact, and anything that was great, high impact. Well, this week, just about everything hit that high impact. I mean, there were certain elements in the segment that, you know, kind of brought it down, but for the most part, it kept it right there in the high impact. So, let's just get started. Kurt Angle hyped things right at the start of the show. It was the return of the six-sided ring, and it's also the first of the TV tapings from the Grand Ballroom, excuse me, in the Manhattan Center in New York City. This is the first of the many tapings for New York City, and we had Bully Ray come out. He got the crowd hype. And also along with Tommy Dreamer, and they talked about, you know, Dixie Carter and such, and Rhino and EC3, and then of course EC3 and Rhino comes out. EC3 starts badmouthing New York City, and the fans start chanting, "You can't wrestle," and of course he stays in perfect heel mode and says, "Yes, I can," and it was hilarious to watch. Anyway, of course, it broke down, and we had a tag team match between Tommy Dreamer and Bully Ray against EC3 and Rhino. It wasn't going to be a technical match. We knew that because Tommy Dreamer and Bully Ray are not the most technical wrestlers out there. Pretty good match. EC3 took most of the beating. Rhino didn't hardly take any beatings. Rhino was pretty dominant, mostly with Tommy Dreamer. It went back and forth. It really broke down toward the end where all four of them were just like in the ring going at each other and such. But it was, it came down to EC3 taking advantage of Rhino taking out Tommy Dreamer, rolling him up, holding the tights, and getting a 1, 2, 3 for his team. Good match. It wouldn't hurt to check it out. So, okay. Oh, and by the way, if you didn't know, at the start of these segments, you saw that nice little caption picture. I always do these with the written reviews, and no exception here, so I hope you like that part of it. Okay. Probably the best match of the night, in my opinion. And this is hard because all the matches were great, but in my opinion, I think the X Division Gauntlet match was the best match of the night. Austin Aries comes out at number 1. He goes against Eddie Edwards. Another wrestler enters every 90 seconds. It's an 8-man gauntlet match. It's over the top rope until you're down to the final 2 men, and then it's pinfall or submission. You had Crazy Steve from the Menadre. You had DJZ, a.k.a. Zema Ion. You had Manik. You had the Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards. And you also had the former X Division Champion, Sanada, in this match also. Oh, and Tigre Uno was in this too. Tigre Uno and the Wolves, Richards and Edwards, and Crazy Steve. They're the only 4 out of this, out of the 8 who have never held the X Division title. DJZ, aka Zema Ion, is a former X Division champion. As you know, Sanada is a former X Division champion, but also Manik is also a former X Division champion. Awesome match. There was a lot of great spots in this match. I have to say, the Wolves, for the most part in this match, worked great as a tag team. They worked the whole match for the most part as a tag team. A lot of high spots during this match. They went to commercial break, and it was like Manik and one other person were eliminated out of the match, and it came back. Sanada came in with a lot of fire. He took out both the Wolves, which was pretty cool. He took them both out, and it was like he took I believe he took Richards out. He took Richards out, I believe, with a Hurricanrana, and then he took out Edwards with a backflip. He backflipped Edwards out of the ring, so that was kind of cool. And then it came down to Austin Aries and Sanada, which basically now turned it into a return match from last week. And I mean, they went at it pretty good. There was a nice Tiger suplex bridge by Sanada, but he couldn't get the 1, 2, 3 on Aries, excuse me. And Aries had some, he was trying to take out Sanada a couple of times, and with no success. Sanada got frustrated. He went for a moonsault, and of course, Aries rolled out of the way. Sanada lands on his feet. 2 discus clotheslines, and then rocking Sanada. Aries hits the missile drop kick into the running missile drop kick into the ring corner, hits the brainbuster to retain the X Division Championship, and he's now on the way to Destination X to decide whether or not he is going to cash in the X Division title for option C to get that TNA World Heavyweight title shot against whoever the champion is after tonight, whether it be Hardy or Bobby Lashley. Best match of the night, in my opinion. There was just so many high spots. It's hard to describe the spots that was in that match. It was just so great. I mean, the Wolves were just like on fire. They had this nice little double team bridge-like move. Edwards or Richards picked up Aries while Edwards hit like a knee type maneuver. It was very impressive. I highly recommend, if you don't like watching Impact Wrestling, or you don't want to fool with watching the entire show, if you only want to watch one match, this is the match to watch, in my opinion. Best match of the night. Aries was on fire. All the guys were on fire, but yeah, I tell you, the big ones were Edwards, Richards, Sanada, and Aries. So gotta watch this match. YouTube it, watch it. You're not going to be disappointed. Trust me, you're not going to be disappointed, okay? All right. Now, let's move on. Let's talk about Bobby Roode, MVP. There's a feud been going on between these two. As you know, it was originally supposed to have been, it was a gentleman's agreement. It was going to be Bobby Roode, the It Factor, versus the then champion at the time, Showtime Eric Young, at Slammiversary for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. That's until MVP, who was the director of wrestling operations at the time, indefinitely suspended Roode. Well, now fast forward to today, Roode is reinstated. MVP, no longer the director of wrestling operations. And what do we get? Kurt Angle sets up a tag team match for the night. Bobby Roode and Eric Young take it on MVP, who's being forced to wrestle, and teaming with MVP is Kenny King. Okay. MVP comes out, on crutches. He talks about how great he is. He's half man, half amazing, and wrestling on half a leg, but, he's going to do it, but he's wrestling under protest. Okay, MVP didn't hardly work any of this match. Every time he tagged in, it was when one of them was down, but he would quickly tag out when they started getting, momentum. King took most of the brunt work for his team. Bobby Roode and Eric Young worked great as a tag team. Believe it or not, this is not a surprise. They are former TNA tag team champions. Don't be surprised there that they worked so good together. Bobby Roode was on fire tonight, so was Showtime Eric Young. King had some nice moves in there. There was a nice Inseguri move by him. It was just phenomenally good. Bobby Roode finally did get his hands at one point in the match on MVP. There was a nice spinebuster and on King by Bobby Roode. That was awesome. Crowd was into this match, and Bobby Roode was able to get the crossface on MVP, and the fans were chanting. But of course, you had King break it up, and such. MVP rolls out of the ring. He grabs the crutches, and in front of the referee, nails Bobby Roode with it. Calls it a disqualification for his team. Eric Young tries to come in and help, but then he gets nailed by King with the other crutch, and they beat the living crap out of Bobby Roode and Eric Young, leaving them laying in the ring. So later in the night, Kurt Angle confronts MVP, asking him, "You think you can do whatever you want?" Which, of course, MVP says, "Yeah, I can." So next week, Kurt Angle has set up a match. It's Falls Count Anywhere, Bobby Roode versus MVP 101. So that's going to be interesting to see. Okay, let's talk knockout action right now. And we're talking about the knockouts. This was a no disqualification knockouts match. Madison Rayne taking on Brittany. Okay, real quick, let me talk about Brittany for a second. Brittany, I'm sort of liking the heel change. I think it's going to be interesting. Still testing the waters with it, so they need to give it a little more time. The one thing I do like is she's changed her look. She's lightened her hair, which is good, because with her dark hair, she was like some poses she almost looked like Brooke Tesmacher, and you need to stand out from each other. You shouldn't have so much of a similar look. So that was kind of cool that she lightened her hair and stuff. Gives her a little different look. Okay, and also I think she's starting to get a little better feel and such in the ring. So now I heard rumors that fans were booing this match there, who were there live when it was taped. I thought the match was good myself, but then again, I might be biased because I am a women's wrestling fan. But I also know a shitty match when I see a shitty match. Prime example, go back to NXT Season 3, Caitlyn versus Maxine. Worst women's match ever. And I do mean ever. Okay? So, anyway, it was a lot of back and forth between the two. They would fight out in the ring. Brittany had this nice armbar on Madison. Basically, Brittany was hanging upside down on the outside ropes with this armbar on Madison, and the referee's like, "Well, should I call you to break it? Should I not?" And he should have been checking to see if Madison wanted to submit, because it's no DQ, it's no disqualification. I mean, that's what kills me sometimes, is these referees. They make these matches, and then the referees don't seem like they know what the rules of the match is. So that's one of the things that really got me there. Like I said, Madison had some good moves. Madison, she was like brutal. She was doing spears, shoulder blocks onto Brittany in the ring corner, and they were so fierce it was shoving Brittany's ass in between the turnbuckles. That's how they were. And they did a lot of brawling out on the outside of the ring. Madison blocked a DDT attempt out on the outside ring, and to the best of my knowledge, I don't think they have much padding out there. And that's sort of interesting, because usually they make sure they have a decent padding out there for the wrestlers. Brittany had nice follow up with the Russian leg sweep and such, and at one point she tried to do a springboard forearm into the ring corner, but it wasn't successful. Madison moved out of the way, and it looked like Madison hit a modified sit down power bomb type move on Brittany, to win the match. Do I really think this feud's over? Nah, I think they're going to continue it a little more. They need to build Brittany up as a heel if they're going to keep going this direction. This was a good knockouts match. I wouldn't say it's the greatest knockouts match and such, but I give the women credit. They really did bust their asses off. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know when we'll see another match between these two. Probably down the road. I suspect next week we'll see Gail Kim take on somebody. I eventually expect Gail Kim to defend the TNA Knockouts title against Taryn Terrell. I don't know if they're saving it for Battle for Glory or what they're going to do, but it's going to be interesting to see. If you're a women's wrestling fan, watch this match. If you're not, I understand it's not going to be the end of the world if you don't watch it. But I give them credit for trying to go out there and put on a good match. It's difficult. Madison has some experience in a six-sided ring, but Brittany had no experience. So to be thrust into this, in a new ring format, it can be trying on you. So let's move on, and we're going to the last match of the night. Jeff Hardy won a 20-man battle royale last week to earn the right to face Bobby Lashley for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. What a match. Okay, first off, I'm going to give Bobby Lashley credit. No interference whatsoever from MVP or Kenny King. Let me repeat. No interference from either one. Matter of fact, near one of them were at ringside. Jeff Hardy, I'm telling you, he pulled out all the stops he could. It was fast-paced, back and forth at the beginning. Hardy was trying to get momentum, but he couldn't because Lashley was, being the monster he is, would just blow off any of Jeff Hardy's offense. But eventually, Jeff Hardy was able to rock him, get him on the floor, and it started going back and forth. Jeff Hardy took out steel steps, and at one point he had Lashley on the outside of the ring. It started ramming his head in. He did it about 5 times. So I'm surprised the referee didn't disqualify him, which that's a good thing he didn't. Hardy tries for a swanton type move on Lashley, who is laying flat out on the steel steps. Lashley rolls out of the way, and Hardy lands back first on the steel steps. I mean, it's a crazy spot. Jeff Hardy, I don't know why well, of course he does it to entertain the fans, but still, myself, I don't know if I would be comfortable doing that kind of a spot, that kind of damage to the back. I don't know. I couldn't have done it, but I give him credit for it. And earlier in the match, before this happened, Hardy hit 2, and I'm saying 2 twist of fates, then went for a swanton bomb, hits it, goes to pin Lashley. Lashley kicks out. So after the second swanton bomb, which failed, Lashley got Hardy back in the ring, waited for him to get up, hit the spear. 1, 2, 3. Lashley retains the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. So it looks like now, if Aries cashes in the X Division title and goes for option C, he will be facing Bobby Lashley for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. It was a great match. Bobby Lashley proving his dominance, and what makes it even better is he's a heel champion, but he did it on his own, no help, no interference, no cheating, just being a dominating champion. So it makes you go, holy crap, who is going to be able to defeat Bobby Lashley for that title? And that's a good question. Who is going to be the one? You've got Bobby Roode, who should be in line for a World Heavyweight title shot. You got Austin Aries. You got Jeff Hardy, who is worthy of being the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Eric Young, got to throw him in there. And you got guys like Samoa Joe, the Cowboy James Storm. So there's a lot of guys up there in that caliber who deserve a title shot. But where in the long run TNA is going to go, don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Final segment of the night saw the arrogant Dixie Carter come out, running her mouth, bad mouthing New York City, and bad mouthing the fans of Bully Ray. calling him a nobody who every time he says, "Do you know who I am?" it's because everybody knows he's irrelevant, he's unimportant, blah, blah, blah. I mean, she did a real good job getting the crowd riled up and, and getting heat. Also, let me say, please, Rockstar Spud, go the fuck away, pardon my French. Oh, so fucking annoying. That's the only downer to this segment. Anytime you see him, it brings the segment down a point or two. Or it could literally kill it. Fortunately, it didn't kill it here because Dixie Carter runs her mouth a little too much. Here comes Tommy Dreamer and Bully Ray carrying a table with Dixie's name on it. And of course, we have a breakout brawl between the four. Dixie bails out of the ring after Rhino and EC3 are taken out along with Rockstar Spud. She bails out before Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer can get their hands on her. She goes over the guardrails and the security, of course, huddles around her. Rhino joins her, and then out of nowhere, as EC3 is going back up the rampway, we hear the music. It is the return of Devon. That's right, Devon, a Team 3D, returns and brings EC3 back down the ring after knocking him out. Brings him into the ring, and they hit the "What's up?" Bully tells them count for it, and the fans all shout, "Devon, get the tables," which Devon does. And I find it funny, he pulls the table out from underneath the ring. Guess what? It has EC3's name on it. And of course, they hit the Dudley drop, or Team 3D drop, whatever you want to call it. They hit it. They put EC3 through a table to the dismay of Dixie Carter. And of course, the crowd is just ecstatic. And that's how Impact Wrestling went off the air. Overall, great show. Gotta give Bobby Lashley credit. That match was better than what I thought it would be. Awesome. Austin Aries, have to say, awesome. Also, gotta talk about backstage segment there with Sanada. They've been doing this for a couple of weeks with the Cowboy James Storm coming up to Sanada talking about, oh, you're disciplined, you're this, you're that, but you're a choke artist, you're a loser. And, of course, he goes through the scenario with Sanada before the X Division Gauntlet match. And then after the match, he starts telling him he's a loser. And then he beats the crap out of him. And at points, I thought I heard him say, "Bang, bang," as a reference to Mick Foley. Where are they going with this? I don't know. Are they going to turn Sanada heel and have him turn on the Great Muta? Or are we going to have a match between the Cowboy James Storm and Sanada? I don't know what they're going to do, but it's sort of interesting to see what's going to happen. In case you didn't know, Sanada is signed to a joint contract with TNA and Wrestling 1 in Japan. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with Sanada. So just got to throw that in there. So overall, what did I give a rating for this Impact? I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Okay? And so finally, as you know, when I do my Impact, making Impact reviews, the written version, I always have the star of the week. Okay? And the star of the week, the greatest man to ever live, Austin Aries. He was just phenomenal tonight, and I got to give it to him. Okay? So, what's my final thoughts on this? Great Impact. Pretty good for it being the first TV taping out in New York City. They said after these TV tapings were done, the morale back in the locker room was like super high. Everybody was just happy, ecstatic. It seems like the crowd really enjoyed it. They had it looked like it was packed. How many of them paid? I don't know, but still. It's going to be interesting to see what the future for TNA holds. Wrestling, the world of wrestling is changing. WWE is having its, and when is Global Force Wrestling coming to us? We don't know yet, but we know it's coming. So it's an interesting time for wrestling fans, and we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But right now, it looks like TNA is trying to do a rebound. Can they do it? Time will tell. So, anyway, hey guys, thank you for joining me for this special YouTube version of Making Impact. I really appreciate you guys. Little jobbo, it's hard to, usually I have reference notes when I'm doing my written reviews, but I didn't have notes, so if I seem like I blew through matches a little too quick, I apologize. But you got the pertinent stuff you need to know about all the ins and outs. So real quick before I leave, let me just give you suggestions. If you don't want to watch the full Impact Wrestling, let me just say you should watch the X Division Gauntlet match, and I would also recommend watching Jeff Hardy versus Bobby Lashley. I thought those two matches are well worth having look up on YouTube because they're really, really good matches. Okay, all right, guys, thank you so much. Don't forget Saturday, check out the special WWE Battleground preview podcast hosted by the man himself, the leader of the Mayor Nation, the Overlord, John Mayer, and myself. I'll be riding shotgun with John as we give our predictions, thoughts, and go over the matches for Sunday's WWE Battleground pay-per-view that will be airing on the WWE Network. Let me just say this: if you haven't subscribed to the WWE Network, do it. It's worth the money, and it's a lot of shows are good. They got good original programming. The Countdown's good. Legends House was phenomenal. I loved Legends House. And there's a lot of good archive footage. If you're old school, you got Saturday Night Main Event from the 80s. You got Clash of Champions. You got World Class Championship Wrestling, ECW. So, there's a lot of good stuff to check out. So, it's worth it. So, anyway, I guess I never explained why am I doing a YouTube version of this show this week? And that's because tomorrow, I wasn't going to have time to do a written review because tomorrow I am leaving late tomorrow morning to Tallahassee, Florida to go to a WWE house show. It's the last house show before WWE Battleground in Tampa. And in case you didn't know, Tallahassee, Florida. And the reason why I'm going, I wasn't originally going to be going because I didn't have the money, but a couple of weeks ago, for my birthday, my family shocked me with the biggest surprise. They all went in and bought me not just a ticket, they bought me the VIP Superstar Experience Package for this show in Tallahassee, which means I will be sitting front row ringside. I also get to do crowd-free merchandise shopping. I will get a special exclusive item. I get a poster. I get a meet and greet with selected WWE superstars. I don't know who I'm going to get to meet. And I'll be able to get their autographs, get their pictures, get pictures with them. Also, I get to take a picture with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship belts on my shoulders. Sweet! And there's more. And I get an exclusive WWE VIP chair, live event chair. So I take my chair home with me. So that's kind of cool. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm usually when I go to wrestling shows, whether it's TNA or whether it's WWE, I'm sort of reserved. I'm not one of those to be screaming and hollering and stuff. But this one I got to make an exception because this is a lifetime experience. In case you didn't know, these packages run about $600. So this is just totally phenomenal that my family did this for me. It brought me to tears. So I'm really psyched. I'm looking forward to it. My wife is going to help me make posters, believe it or not. My wife's not a wrestling fan, but she's going to help me do this. She knows how important this is to me, and I really love her for helping me do this. So anyway, guys, hey, thank you so much for watching this special Making an Impact YouTube version of Making an Impact. Hey guys, leave a comment. Tell me, would you rather this type of review, or do you prefer the written? You know, it would be nice to know, because if you guys like the YouTube version, we'll stay with the YouTube version. If you like the written, we'll stay with the written. And you know, it's in your guys' hands. You know, because without you, you know, if you weren't reading this, I wouldn't be able to do it. You know, you guys are the ones that, you know, help it make it a success. So I want to make it something that you guys enjoy. Okay. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And don't forget, like I said, to check out the WWE Battleground Preview Podcast. That'll be up tomorrow, and some other great stuff. I'll also have a review from the house show I'm going to tomorrow, so be able to check that out. That will not be YouTube. That will be written, so check that out, guys. All right. Y'all have a good one, and we'll catch y'all next week.